Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we are talking about why AMC is back, the AMC buys being stolen, a new dark pool record, and many more in this video. First, we're taking a look at this. Numbers don't lie. CEO Adam has brought AMC revenue back to 2019 numbers, going above the 5 billion revenue mark. Now, this is essentially comparing the earnings and taking a look from 2013 to 2023. So yes, whilst we are in, of course, 2025 now, it's not showing 2024, I still think that this is very important to look at. When you see in terms of how AMC was performing back in 2013 to 2016, and you compare it with where it was in 2023, you can already see the improvement. And then you take a look at when it really took off from 2017 to 2019, obviously before COVID happened, we are at 4.8 for 2023, and the peak was, of course, 5.47 in 2019. And again, coming into 2024 and 2025, we obviously did even higher numbers, and what's projected for the next few years is, of course, going to be even higher. We already have data which supports this. We have shown how AMC is able to generate more revenue even with the same box office numbers, but what we have is, of course, the box office number going up as well. And so we have many bullish factors that is showing how the AMC fundamental is going to improve. Now, one of the most important reasons for why I'm showing this is essentially understanding that what the short thesis was back in 2020 is no longer a proper thesis. You know, back in 2020, you can see how the revenue was doing extremely bad. And of course, this was to be expected because of lockdown, as many of you are aware. And so back then, yes, the short thesis was, of course, a logical thing. But now, going into 2025, when you still see these theses that talk about that AMC is going to be bankrupt, that the same reasoning is still applied to AMC, that was the same as 2020, obviously that isn't the case anymore. And it's why we've said, everyone is always talking about how AMC isn't doing well, how AMC is doing, you know, the bad decisions. But when you actually take a look throughout the last few years, AMC is improving. And it's why I've said that, of course, the actual business structure of AMC is, of course, doing well. Now, you can also take a look at this. AMC, you can't make this up. How much volume do they launder in the massive volume candle without moving price? Gobbled up the buys and continues to gap down. So this is a very interesting picture, and I want to obviously go more in depth into this. What you can see is a massive green candle, yet the AMC price was going down. Now, I've actually seen this post somewhere else as well, and on their picture, it was actually a red candle. And so this is what it should be. When the price is going down, the candle should be red. And of course, when the price is going up, the volume candle should be green. And you know, it doesn't actually work the opposite way, unless of course there was a graphical glitch. But the reason why I want to talk about this and why I want to highlight more into this is it's not about the glitch, but it's about seeing the fact that plenty of times when, and you can see how AMC price was dropping here, but plenty of times we've seen a massive green candle for AMC in terms of volume candle, but the price barely moves. But here, when you see the volume candle go up for AMC, when it's a sell volume, the price is dropping drastically. And that's the difference in what we see for AMC between buys and sells. When you get tons of buys, AMC price doesn't move. But when you even get the slightest amount of sells, now in this case, it was of course big in comparison, but even when you get the smallest amount of sells, you're actually seeing an even bigger movement. Now that is something that shouldn't be possible normally, but yet it's viable for AMC, and there's multiple reasons for this. First thing is taking a look at this, and it's about why they want to hide the buy pressure, and that's because people are continuously buying AMC. The buy pressure for AMC is something that you will almost never see in any other stocks, where you can see this. And this is something we talked about. Holding AMC at 350 is not going to make any individual investors leave. It's just going to help us, all of us, load the boat with more synthetic shares. And you can see Baita removed reply to this. This is the truth. A dream to dollar cost down my AMC at this level. Now, I can't speak for everyone, of course, but what I can say is that from what I've seen, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on YouTube, and even just looking at, you know, the OBV, is that when people see the price of AMC go going down, as opposed to selling their shares like people normally would with, of course, other stocks. People understand that this is different from what's happening normally. And so what we see is that with the price of AMC going down because of the manipulation, the suppression, what we are actually seeing is that more people are buying as opposed to selling. And that's the important factor. And it's what we talked about. This is what's obviously showing in terms of how big a buy pressure would be for AMC. And it's of course why they continuously try to hide the buy pressure away. You can also take a look at this. Recently, what we've seen is kind of a conflict between AMC and GME community. And again, the reason why I talk about this is because I think it's very important to understand that this has always been retail against institutions. This has never been AMC versus GME. It's always been retail versus the hedge funds versus the institutions. And so that's what we talked about. But recently we've seen some conflict, and you can then suddenly see how the AMC price is moving against GME and how they're moving now inversely. What we'll normally see is however AMC is moving, GME is doing the same, and vice versa. Whatever GME is doing, AMC is doing the same. It's normally whichever one has the most volume that they obviously lead the movement of the two stocks. Now, when we're suddenly seeing where the media, where kind of the community is showing a bit of conflict, suddenly AMC and GME price is working in an inverse order. Now, I definitely think, it's like I said, they're always monitoring the community. They want to, of course, create more conflict in the community, because I've always stated this. No matter which one squeezes first, the other will squeeze along with it. It could be GME squeezing first and then AMC squeeze. Or it could be AMC squeezing first and then GME would squeeze. What's important is the fact that both are applying pressure to the hedge funds. But when you make a conflict, when you create all these arguments, when you turn it against retail, and the focus is not on the institutions anymore, then that becomes, where we don't apply that pressure anymore. And that's the scary thing. And that's what they want. Because at the end of the day, you guys have to understand, the people that are paying for the squeeze will be the hedge funds, will be the institutions that are out there. It won't be the retail investors. It won't be if GME squeezes, the AMC investors are paying. It won't be if the AMC squeezes, the GME investors are paying. That's not the case. It's always been the case of the hedge funds paying. And that's why they want to create conflict between the communities. And you can also see here in terms of looking at how the trades are obviously being taken away. We can see we're supposed to believe Bloomberg is so surprised by all the dark pool trading, especially the OTC trades sent there. Now, what we can see right now is stock trading goes dark, off-exchange volumes in US equity market surpasses 50% for the first time. So it's very interesting. In a time where we're seeing how institutions and short sellers are trying to fight for the stop of transparency, so they don't want transparency in the market, where we're seeing more and more margin rules being implemented, suddenly we're seeing dark pool trading go up. And remember, dark pool trading is something that's supposed to benefit the institutions. So it's extremely coincidental and interesting that is obviously happening right now. And when you take a look at what we talked about earlier in terms of, the AMC price going down, and even more in terms of how JP Morgan Chase won't accept market orders for GME, they'll only accept limit orders, and the limit orders are routed to dark pools to keep them off the lit exchanges. You can see what's happening right now. Now, I'm still curious for people who are using JP Morgan Chase if your orders are still only limit orders only and not market orders. But the very fact that this is happening is obviously showing how dark pool trading is of course going up. And we talked about this. They only want to increase the usage of dark pool trading when they're worried about something, when they don't want to show the real price. Because by not allowing the actual buy volume hit the lit market, you're essentially not letting the market showing what they think AMC price or GME price should be. And so when we see the increase of dark pools, what we can see is that we are further and further away from the true price discovery of AMC, from truly how the market, how the investors truly do want to reflect the price of AMC and GME, because they won't be able to show that they're willing to buy AMC at $10, at $15 if we are never able to get that buy volume to go up there. And so That's why dark pool trading is going up. You can also see nearly 1 million GME buy orders was routed via dark pool. So we're seeing this for both AMC and GME, and we're seeing this increase. And so like we said, this has always been a fight against the hedge funds and not against each other. And you guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.